Okay, hey, Ryan here with Inside Real Estate. Wanted to talk about a common objection we hear in the advertising department, and that objection is, hey, it's a worthless lead if it doesn't have a phone number. And this will happen especially with Google PPC, where a lot of times we recommend you set Google to have an optional phone number. Now, my response to that is usually something like, maybe it depends on what you consider a lead to be. If I were to get a warm personal referral, and if I'm paying 20 to 35% for a referral fee, then yeah, give me that phone number. I want the phone number so I can call them. It's going to be an expensive interaction. If I close the deal, I'm going to pay a lot for the closing, so I want the phone number. Make it easy on me. But if it's a Google or Facebook PPC lead, not so much. And in fact, I'd prefer to not worry about the phone number personally. I'd rather just have people calling me based on the follow-up that I do afterwards, the automated follow-up that I'll do using a system like Conversion Plus or KV Core mixed in with some retargeting. Now, what I have here on the next slide says Google, Facebook, PPC lead, an email and a pixel is good enough, and here's why. So to make this point, what I'm talking about is that the internet leads have no idea who you are. The internet leads you're getting, when they first see the offer in Facebook or Google for a pay-per-click ad, they have no idea what agent is on the other side of that. So if you think about it, especially with Gen Y and the younger kids these days, they don't want to give anybody their phone number. They don't want to talk on the phone. It's the last thing they want to do, and much less are they going to give their phone number to somebody they have no idea who they are. So they're not going to trust you with a real number, and a lot of times what'll happen is if you require a number, which you can do, they'll bounce off the page, so your conversion rates will be lower, or they'll just give you a fake number. I personally do it all the time. Just pop a fake number in there. A lot of times they might even give you a fake email address, but that's less likely. So overall, if people are giving you fake numbers or they're bouncing off your page, your cost per lead will be higher at the end of the day. And I do use the word lead because personally I do consider an email only to be a lead because of the technology we have at our disposal, again with Conversion Plus and KV Core's follow-up campaigns and retargeting technology that is out there with the different ad platforms. If you retarget and you follow up with solid real estate related content over time, they will call you instead of you calling them. You really don't need the phone number. When a buyer is ready to talk to you, or a seller because they trust you because you've been sending them stuff for months or years, they're just going to call you or email you and say, hey, when can we talk? They're going to chase you. So to bring home this point though, even if you don't trust me on the last things I was saying, let's do some math and get really analytical with it. And on the left side, I have the column for warm referrals with phone numbers. So this is when somebody calls you up and they're like, hey, I got this $300,000 buyer. I'm going to assume a 2.5% buyer side commission. You're going to make $7,500 gross on that, 30% of which for a referral fee is going to be $2,250. So that cost per deal is going to be $2,250. Now let's look over at the cold AdWords leads with email only. Cold Google AdWords leads with email only. That's going to be a $300,000 transaction. 2.5%, you still got the same $7,500 side here. And I'm going to assume a 1% conversion rate. And that's pretty conservative and low, especially if you just use basic drip campaigns, even if you don't do retargeting. But if you just kind of do some basic retargeting, we have a course in the learning portal here at Inside Real Estate about how to set up some very basic retargeting. If you just use the drip campaigns, you should hit 1%. And at a $10 per lead, which is our national average, our North American average with Google PPC through the advertising department, at $10 per lead, that's going to cost you at 1%, so I'm doing simple math here, it's going to cost you $1,000 per conversion. So we've got $2,250 versus $1,000. Which one are you going to take? It's this one right here. I'll take this all day. Now, I will grant you that this is more of a short-term instant gratification proposition. You get a warm referral, 30%, take it all day long. But these are few and far between. It doesn't happen all day. So if you're trying to build a business for the long term, you want to keep that pipeline full, you're also going to want to be over here. And my point is that I think the big argument here is that you should be happy with that email only lead when you really consider the math right here. The numbers work in this industry. It's exciting stuff. Even if you're paying other people to drive your leads for you, the numbers are going to work. If you learn how to do this stuff yourself, it's going to look even better at the end of the day. So that's it. Some math. Last thing I want to mention is that there is some good news and a silver lining for those of you who really need phone numbers. Our Property Boost and our Done For You Facebook Buyer Leads programs actually use Facebook's lead ads objectives, to get you the real cell number that Facebook has on file. And we almost always do it for well under $10 per lead. So if you focus on the Facebook side of things and you take the cell number that Facebook has on file, which is usually what you're going to get, unless the person takes some time, it happens very rarely to change the number. It does happen, but 95% of the time you're going to get that real cell number. You're going to be getting leads for well under $10 per lead. And in the case of Property Boost, you're also going to be servicing your listings in a really cool way. So there's a big upside there. So we do have the ability to get you phone numbers from Facebook. With Google, you can require the phone, but it's just not recommended. You're going to get a lot of fakes, and I don't know. I would just rather leave phone numbers not required, and then when somebody does give you a phone number because it's optional, it'll most likely be real because they gave you they had a choice not to, and they gave you the number. And then finally, don't forget to focus on retargeting and follow up with solid content, and you'll do at least that 1% conversion number. But trust me, over time, if you do it, stay consistent for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, your number is going to be way better than 1% if you're sending a property deal of the week, doing regular webinars, blogs, adding rich content, a property search of the day, things like that. People are going to start to know, like, and trust you, and these numbers back here on the math page are going to be way, way more exciting for you. Thanks for listening here. If you're not already a Conversion Plus or KV Core user, just head on over to InsideRealEstate.com and request a demo today.